Welcome back to my 7 scientific future predictions. So let's proceed with my scientific prediction number 2, artificial intelligence and robots. Having accepted that we might not be able to create a HAL 9000 self-aware computer, that whole long story of us getting a computer to beat a human in chess shows that we can create small, narrow-focus programs that will simulate artificial intelligence. The last 50 years of software development shows that we can permanently imprint our human thought processes on a computer system. One of the greatest thrills I get in programming is to see my thinking process being used at a fraction of a second over and over again and able to run 24/7 forever. This will surely be the future of computers in our lives. Some human thinking processes can be implanted on a chip and stored in a hard drive and always available to work for you. As to robots, without self-aware robots like Data or even C-3PO, the best we might see is a dumber version of R2-D2. Even if the future robots look like C-3PO or Data, they will still be very dumb. We've now seen the development of the Roomba robotic rug cleaner. In the next millennium, a total household cleaning and repairing robot will be part of our lives. Advancements in artificial intelligence will decide if we have an R2-D2 or a Super Roomba. My third scientific prediction is extremely long life extension. Early in the 20th century, life expectancy was an average of 45 years for the world. In the early 21st century, it is an average of 68 years for the world. This is due to better understanding of medicine in our current time. The longest documented lifespan is 122 years. So given an ideal body, 100 years is about all we can expect medicine to give most of us. Even so, more people living that long will extend the average life expectancy of the world. We are beginning to understand that aging is caused by the failure of our genes to create better copies of our genes in the newer body cells that we create. If we could slow down or generally stop this breakdown of our genetic code in our body cells, we might help our body fix our older cells as we age. In the last 2 decades, we have seen the creations of DNA tests, and the human genetic code was completely mapped. We are now experimenting with genetically altered plants and animals. Stem cells might be genetically programmed to become any part of our body. This may lead to growing outside the body, failing body parts for transplanting and saving lives. This goes back to what I said about extending the lifespan. If we could store our complete genetic code into a computer storage device, then we would only need a medical technician to use that data to either fix our aging genes or clone our broken body parts. We might be able, with great new medicines, a younger genetic code, and better body parts, see a lifespan greater than 122 years. 200 to 1,000 years might someday be possible. God help our Social Security system and Medicare, but hey, I would like to live to see the 22nd century. An interesting issue might arise with this development. As I said, Isaac Asimov was one of my favorite science fiction writers. In one of his books, he wrote of this very thing. His long-living humans were called spacers, and they could live for at least 200 to 300 years. Also, he wrote that there were normal humans who still had a normal lifespan of less than 100 years. He wrote of a war between the humans and spacers. In that war, the spacers were not willing to die for their cause because they had the greater lifespan to lose in battle. One can see that money will probably be a factor in having a long life. If Asimov is correct, the long-living people will not be willing to fight and die for their side. If we find ourselves in such a society, who will prevail, the short-living people or the long-living people? Let us hope that our future society will allow all of us to be spacers alike. Scientific prediction number 4, genetic engineering and nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is the technology of manipulating matter on an atomic or organic cellular level that will either chemically or organically assemble like a production line in microscopic miniature many of the new materials and devices from medicine, electronics, biomaterials, and energy production. The dream is that we can create a genetically altered organic yeast-like substance. Let's call it nano. Guided by some signals from a computer, this nano would then, on a cellular level, create or destroy a certain type of material at exactly the desired place you want to create and destroy this material. Just imagine a new empty lot that you just purchased to build your dream home. Spread the nano substance over the ground and turn on the computer. First, the nano would remove the dirt for the basement foundation. Then the nano would create the foundation. And next, the nano would build the complete house based on your computer design. And finally, the nano would finish the interior. Also, we will use this technology to fix the inside and out of older buildings like the Empire State Building and many other historic buildings in Washington, D.C. We only need to inject the nano into the old buildings, turn on the guiding computer, and quickly and safely the old building is rebuilt to a newer, safer structure without changing the old shapes of these buildings. For those older skyscrapers and buildings that we choose not to save, the nano will dissolve and remove all of the old building safely. Before going on to my 5th scientific prediction, I want to reflect on another frequently used science fiction concept: alien races from another planet. We've all seen photographs, movies, and heard of people recounting their personal audiences with space aliens. I do not want to call them liars or have any explanation for the photos or movies of UFOs that we have seen. I only want to make 3 scientific points. Point number 1. How do these vehicles travel the large distances in space using a propulsion system based on any technology under our current understanding of physics? Be able to travel the distance from other stars. Take, for example, our nearest star, Proxima Centauri. It is 25 trillion miles away. Current fastest man-made vehicle ever was our space probe Helio 2 that went 150,000 miles per hour, almost 10 times faster than the International Space Station orbiting the Earth right now. At that speed, the time to the nearest star is 19,012 years. Light from that star takes 4.3 years to come here. If you had a craft that could continuously accelerate to the speed of light at about the speed of gravity, so you would have gravity for most of the trip, that would be about 22 miles per hour increase per second. When you reached near the speed of light, you would have reached that speed in about 354 days of continuous acceleration. You would then have traveled almost half a light year at that point. Also, you would need to slow down about a half a light year before reaching your destination star. Because of this startup and stop in light speed, it will take you about 5 years to reach the nearest star. Therefore, these aliens have done a great deal to get here, and then after all this trouble, they have chose to remain mostly hidden to most of us on Earth. Point number 2. As to all these close encounters of the third kind with aliens, these aliens seem to look strangely like us. Granted, they don't look like anything you would see on most of our city streets or in the country. Maybe you would see it at a strange costume party. But they have been described to have heads, hands, legs, eyes, and mouths. It is possible that evolution will be the same somewhere else in the universe. But a careful look at some of our own planet's strange life forms shows that the possibility that aliens will look somewhat like us is very, very unlikely. Point number 3, the sound of silence. These aliens don't seem to know how to use radios. We have had about a century of radios in use all over the world. Whether we wanted to or not, there is now a sphere of intelligent radio messages going out into the universe. Well, maybe not so intelligent. Radio signals travel at the speed of light, so now all the solar systems within 100 light years of us now know there is intelligent life here on this planet. We did not intend to tell these aliens we are here, but the radio horse is out of the barn already. They are smart, and they will know we are here. I think we are smart enough to know that they are here also. If any nearby aliens invented the radio hundreds or perhaps thousands of years ago, we should hear them now. Why can't we? If they wanted to go radio silent now or in the past, the older radio signals they sent out before they stopped transmitting will still be traveling out from their home planet. Can you imagine us trying to stop all radio transmitters on Earth at this very moment? Well, our alien friends will likely have the same problem with stopping all their radio transmissions. Our universe is currently very silent of intelligent radio messages, TV, or data. If there are UFOs traveling to our planet right now, why is the universe so very silent? So far as we know, we are currently the only intelligent life form that can leave its birth planet. So with that in mind, we will continue with my 5th scientific prediction, our future in space, on part 3 of this series.